Regarding social media, internet, etc., I wanted to share a methodology that I used to take a break from the internet, and that was by having somebody that I was friends with who also wanted to take a break from the internet. And so we developed this thing, I call it Internot. So, like, for like, say, like a week, you and a friend decide that you're both like not gonna go online. So like it's kind of like accountability. Like if you feel like going online, call your friend and just have like a telephone conversation, and that way you're having like because a lot of times we want interaction, and so we reach for social media. But maybe like it'd be great to take like a week off from that and just like um, rekindle actual human social interaction with people, um, which becomes more challenging the more we deal with like multimedia, etc. So anyway, I just think it's a good idea to have somebody who's on the same page as you, who also wants to take a break and kind of like regain their human consciousness. I think a week is a good amount of time. Of course, I think it is difficult to, if you have certain work where you have to use, uh, your email or whatever, and sometimes there's like emergencies. It was crazy when I was doing the internat with my friend. Is actually an old friend of mine passed away, and some people were trying to get a hold of me, like on Facebook, and you know, uh, yeah. So that was kind of strange, but I don't know why I'm talking about that, but it was just sort of a strange thing because I'm I'm finally not going online, and then something like that happens. But anyway, so I think it's maybe even develop guidelines that go like I can email from like 3 to 4 p.m. or something like that, like 1 hour a day. But I'm not gonna go on Twitter. I'm not gonna go on Instagram. I'm not gonna go on Facebook. I'm not gonna go on all the sort of non-essential, um, because it really is non-essential. I mean, like Twitter. Sometimes you go on it because it's like the Garden of Eden apple. You know what I mean? It's sort of like the knowledge. It's like the serpent. Like, oh my God, I feel like I can find out all this like information. It's kind of like the people that used to read the newspaper backwards and frontward. Like, oh, I want to know the secrets of the universe, but really, the secrets of the universe aren't here. You know what I mean? They're not out there. I mean, you're just gonna hear a bunch of BS on Twitter. I mean, actually, for me, Twitter is my main. It's a social media I like the best because actually I think you can curate it to a certain extent to find out news directed towards what you want. But I think that there's a lot of bullshit that gets mixed in with it. And Facebook, I almost feel like no kinship with anymore. Like, if anything, I use the messenger just to keep in touch with certain people. But I really don't care to see like Aunt Sally's opinion about something that I totally don't agree with, or like what I mean. Like I just like it just doesn't matter. Like with Twitter, at least it's like people that you kind of like follow because you want to hear their opinion or something. Where it's like at Facebook, it's like people you've known your whole life who you don't necessarily agree with. You're just kind of like it's just a weird combination. And I think Instagram just makes people depressed because it's like, oh my God, why is Henry on the beach every week and I'm in my office, you know, How come they get to go to do have these incredible lives and I'm just stuck here at home, you know? Like, um, I actually sometimes do an Instagram story. Uh, I, I, I actually haven't posted that much lately, but once in a while I'll just do like, almost just like, hey, this is me. How's it going, everybody? Like, it's not even like I'm not talking in the story, but usually I'll just show like myself like riding a bike or wherever I am, and then like put some music over it, you know. But I'm not saying, you know, I just, it's funny because I almost have this like codependency with people where it's like, oh, I have to see what people are up to. Like, you know, I have to see if so and so messaged me so I can message them back so I don't hurt anybody's feelings, you know. But, you know, if you go away for a week, people might miss you, but it's like you can do a week, you know what I mean? So, and also, I think it's sort of empowering to do it because it makes you realize that you can do it, and it frees up a lot of time for your creative endeavors. So I think it's a really good. I think it's a really good exercise. I think of it as like holistic, digital holisticness or something. I don't know. Just it's like the Internot, you know. And you know, there's a guy named Jaron. I forgot his last name, but he has all these YouTubes about how you shouldn't go on. So you should delete your social media accounts, and I'm like, oh, but it took me so long to get this many followers on Twitter, and I don't even have 3,000 followers on Twitter. You know what I mean? But still, I'm like, I don't want to like lose all these followers on Twitter. You know. But anyway, Jaron Lanier, I think is his name. He's got all kinds of YouTubes about how you shouldn't have social media. You should just delete your social media. That would be ideal, but I think it's unrealistic. Um, Unless you're like that guy that, what was the guy that never did social media in the first place? Deep learning, Cal Newport. So Cal Newport has books about deep learning, and he thinks that social media is bad, but he never started one in the first place. It does also make me realize that like the younger generation, I think, has it even it's more difficult because I mean I didn't actually start social media till I was almost 30 years old. I was 29 when MySpace came, when I was doing MySpace. And then I did like Facebook. I started Facebook in like '07, so I was like 31. But like people nowadays, they're, you know, right out of the gate, they're doing all this stuff. So it's like you're just, it doesn't even feel like you're doing anything abnormal. But for me, I recently stopped and thought about it. And so 2005 was when I started MySpace. Then Facebook '07. I started doing Twitter in like '09, and then like Instagram a few years ago. And so I was thinking about it like 2005, right? How many years ago was that? Wow. Wow, 2005. 19 years ago? When I first started thinking about it, it was last year, so it was 18 years ago. And I was thinking about the fact that I was just about to be 48. And that is quite a bit more than a third of my life I've been on social media. And that's a long time. But if I've done it for a third of my life, think about like people younger than me have been doing it, you know, half their life or more maybe. So, um, maybe they're not, maybe if you're like a younger person, you're listening to me, you're like, ah, no problem. What's the big deal? Maybe there is no problem if you know what? If you're cool with it, maybe there isn't a problem for you. I don't know. It's all down to how it makes you feel about yourself. I don't feel good about myself if I spend more time on internet stuff than I do like writing songs or taking care of myself or going on bike rides. So it's all about how these things make you feel about yourself. So I'm not trying to preach to anybody, but I'm just saying if you're looking for those kind of tools, maybe find an accountability partner who feels the same way you do and keep each other accountable for 1 week of Internot.